So today's report is of between 10 and 15 milligrams of Xanax or Alprazolam. I picked this one because it really shows how the substance can affect your judgment and overall thought process at high doses, and how it gives the delusion of sobriety, which can be incredibly dangerous and lead to some scenarios like the one we'll read today. Granted, this person did have a very high tolerance to Xanax, but even so, this is still a stupidly high dose, and is a good example of what can happen when overindulging in benzos. As I am prescribed anti-anxiety medication, I feel relatively confident of my knowledge of how these drugs affect me. That aside, I had nothing to do one particular evening, so I decided to take some pills and pass out. I had a long drive in the AM planned, but I didn't think it would affect my ability to drive 10 or so hours later. So I emptied a bottle of pills on my desk, popped in a CD and threw back 4 1mg pills. Xanax has little effect on me whatsoever, so this is a relatively low dose for me. Please take heed that this is how my body reacts. Some people take 1mg and are high, so don't take my experience as a relation for yours. For example, I took a bar, 2mg tonight, and just played basketball without any problems, so you can get my drift as to how it affects me. So it's the second time we're including this little note, but it says, driving while intoxicated, tripping, or extremely sleep deprived is dangerous and irresponsible because it endangers other people. Don't do it. Anyway, that night I decided to take another 1, or 2, or 3. I don't remember anything after that. I woke up feeling normal. I'm assuming I had at least 6 hours of sleep. I packed my clothes, etc., and I hopped in my car. I still remember this. I got on the freeway and began driving, yet the lines on the road were blurry and I was seeing double. I was so high I didn't even know I was high, so I continued on thinking nothing of it. I remember thinking this was unusual, but was unaffected otherwise. Somewhere along the line I ran into a curb. Where, I don't know. I was trying to fix my tyre, which had been blown out from the impact, obviously with no success. I remember being completely emotionless about the ordeal. I simply called someone to fix it, and again I was on my way. Minutes later, without my knowledge of this, multiple cop cars were behind me. Apparently I had been swerving lane to lane and someone called the police. I drove for 20 more minutes, completely unaware of the police behind me. As I approached my exit where I was meeting family members, I passed out and hit a fire hydrant. When I got out of the car, there were cops everywhere. This is one of the few things I remember after blacking out. Lucky for me, the cops bought the story that I had an adverse reaction to a new medication and I was let go with no offence. I was in fact on an antidepressant, which I blamed the blackout on. At the time, I thought this was what had caused it, because I knew I hadn't taken any Xanax that morning. The police checked with a local pharmacy and due to my cooperation were kind enough to let me go when my family arrived. Amazing, huh? When I came home, I looked at my pill bottle realising what had happened. I was still high from last night. Judging by the few pills left, I believe I had taken at least 10mg, however I believe it's closer to 15. Anyway, the moral is this. Xanax is a very helpful drug in reducing anxiety, however it dilutes my thought process if taken at too high of a dose. Like I said, I hopped in that car having no idea that I was indeed intoxicated. I was in my own world. I had never driven drunk, I don't drink, I'm an honour roll student in college, and I don't use any drugs aside from occasional marijuana use.